It has been a disastrous, a catastrophic, a total and utter collapse for the Trump campaign over the past few days, and they didn't see it coming. Vice President Kamala Harris, now the Democratic presumptive nominee for the President of the United States, surging in the polls, surging in popularity, momentum, energy. It's incredible, folks. What I love, too, about Kamala Harris's campaign is they're aggressive. They are pushing back rapid response. They are calling out Donald Trump for being a creep and weird. They're calling him a predator. They're taunting him and JD Vance. Just take a look at some of the press releases that Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign has just put out, mocking and taunting Donald Trump and his weak loser campaign and his weak loser running mate, JD Vance. Here's the release that was just issued by Vice President Kamala Harris for president, the campaign. It says, JD Vance is a creep who wants to ban abortion nationwide. JD Vance is weird. Voters know it. Vance is the most unpopular VP pick in decades. This week, we're all finding out just how creepy JD Vance and his Project 2025 plans are. In newly unearthed audio, Vance calls for a federal response to block women in red states from traveling to another state to get an abortion in the grossest way possible. Here's another press release issued by the Harris for President campaign. Buyer's remorse. Trump's VP pick already a disaster. Donald Trump is breaking records for the worst possible VP rollout a candidate could ever have. 11 days in, Vance is the most unpopular pick in decades. In the first week of his candidacy, he's picking fights with Jennifer Aniston, animating Swifties against Trump's campaign, insulting couples struggling with infertility, and driving away women voters in droves, as article after article reveals just how far he and Donald Trump would go to ban abortion nationwide. Never mind uniting the country, JD Vance can't unite his own party. Already, leading Republican strategists are expressing buyer's remorse over Donald Trump's choice for VP. It's now being reported as well that Donald Trump was actually going to pick Doug Burgum to be his VP, but his children and some of the tech bros that his children were friends with, Don Jr. and Eric, were yelling at Donald Trump and saying, you got to pick JD Vance, you got to pick JD Vance. And ultimately they went with Shady. And now that is backfiring massively, and you've seen all the videos we've done on JD Vance. By the way, right now, there are more people Google searching JD Vance couch over Trump assassination. Also, recently unearthed posts of JD Vance posting about women and dolphins together. I won't say it any more than that. And you can see that he searched it from his Google history because you see the names in bold what his search was. He posted that a few months ago, not years ago, which would still be crazy weird. He posted this a few months ago. That has been unearthed. Here's another press release by Harris for President. Statement on 78-year-old criminal's Fox News appearance. That's great. Just call Donald Trump a crook, a felon, a predator. Call him out. And Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign is doing that. Here's what the press release says. After watching Fox News this morning, we only have one question. Is Donald Trump okay? Main takeaways Trump gave to the American people. He praised Project 2025. He's flustered. He's lashing out. When Trump wasn't lying, he's making threats. Donald Trump believes abortion bans are good. Mail-in voting is bad. He praised dictators because he wants to be one. Trump is clearly worried he made the wrong pick in JD Vance. Trump is old and quite weird. This guy shouldn't be president ever again. If anyone wants an alternative, Kamala Harris is offering one. Look, you've been watching MeidasTouch Network for a long time. You know that we've been calling these guys weird every step of the way. And oftentimes what we've said here is, look, this really isn't a political thing. I often say I'm not even so much like into the politics as this MAGA Republican thing, they're just a bunch of deranged weirdos who behave very strangely. I mean, you've got Donald Trump saying he's got imaginary friends, Hannibal Lecter. He spends his speeches making weird noises like going, and like doing strange things like that. He talks about how he'd rather be electrocuted than eaten by sharks in his speeches. Then it gets dangerous. He's replaced the national anthem with a song by the J6 Choir, and he tells President Biden at his speeches, "Joe, release the hostages. Joe, referring to January 6th insurrectionists. Donald Trump gives these speeches where he says that he has a good body and his body's better than President Biden's. It's like really weird, unhinged, deranged stuff. Donald Trump would spend his rallies referring to Stormy Daniels as a horse face, and he would say, "Horse face, no affair, horse face, did nothing with the horse face," over and over again. I mean, I have clips for all of that if you want to see some of them. But anyway, let me show you what JD Vance just emailed. Emergency broadcast. What's the emergency, JD? That people are finding out what you're doing with dolphins, that people are searching about you in couches, that people are calling you out for your own words, saying that, quote, childless cat ladies are threats to democracy. Here's the emergency broadcast by JD Vance. Emergency broadcast, and it says, Ben, deep state Democrats are lining up behind their new globalist puppet, Kamala Harris. When they use the word globalist, it's an anti-Semitic trope. Rebellion leader Nancy Pelosi endorsed her. Rebellion leader? I've told you these people are weird. What do you mean, rebellion leader? The reason he's saying that is that in Donald Trump's QAnon world, they say that Nancy Pelosi was responsible for January 6th, while at the same time entirely and internally and consistently praising the January 6th insurrectionists, but they called Nancy Pelosi a rebellion leader. They said Hillary Clinton slithered out of the swamp and endorsed her. Now even Chuck Schumer is groveling to the new regime and endorsing her. But Trump and I don't need a cabal of anti-American elites backing us. We only need you. But you see also the dangerous language that they use in their attempts to appeal to QAnon, referring to a cabal. The whole QAnon thing is that there's a cabal out there of, even they say the Democrats are a cabal of pedophiles, and that Donald Trump's going to do mass executions of the cabal. They're intentionally using this very violent rhetoric. Then JD Vance says, I will never surrender our country to the radical left. Don't we have the photo of the lettuce and JD Vance? I have a sense that JD Vance is going to surrender in the next 2 weeks based on the trajectory of everything. And then he goes, Trump will never surrender our country to the sick political class in power. Will you, Ben? Of course not. Dude, you worked in Silicon Valley for Peter Thiel. You're a phony, you're a fraud, you're a fake hillbilly. The hillbilly elegy, it's fantasy. You made up a whole life story. You lived in these suburbs in Cincinnati, and then you moved to Silicon Valley after going to law school where you had a tech job, and then you moved back and you started a sham charity in Cincinnati, and then you exploited people who were suffering from the opioid epidemic. That's what happened. By the way, I like that Democratic governor from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, is now calling out and also mocking Trump and JD Vance for being weak and cowards because Donald Trump canceled the debate with Vice President Kamala Harris because he was too scared. Listen to Josh Shapiro, governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Play this clip.
You could not have a clearer contrast between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And let me tell you something. He's pretty afraid. Y'all see, he's backing out of the debate now. He's afraid to stand toe-to-toe with our vice president. And you know why that is? It's not just because she's a skilled debater. It's not just because she's got the right positions on the issues that matter most to the good people of Pennsylvania and this country. Because he can't run away from his record any longer.
As many of you may know, I just got married and I plan on expanding my family with more responsibilities stacking up. I want to make sure my family will have the protection that fits our needs. Now, I'm grateful that I have Policy Genius by my side. Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It makes choosing the right policy for your family easy and quick. That's why I love it. Policy Genius helps you easily compare your options from America's top insurers in just a few clicks. Their award-winning agents can even walk you through the process step by step. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid unnecessary medical exams. Policy Genius has no incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. Your work life insurance policy may not offer enough protection that your family needs. Even worse, it may not come with you if you leave your job. So please get the peace of mind that you need by finding the right life insurance with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/Meidas or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/Meidas. One more time, go to policygenius.com/Meidas, and I think you'll see why I trust Policy Genius. policygenius.com/Meidas. Here's what Donald Trump just posted. The $91 million heist by Kamala Harris. Stop the cash grab. Kamala and her cronies tried to pull off the biggest heist in political history. Like, you're reading this, you're like, what are they talking about, Ben? I don't know. They're weird. They're weirdos who know. This is how they communicate. Just look at their posts with all caps. They are weirdos. She just rolled over $91 million in campaign funds from Joe right to her campaign. She tried her hand at a brazen cash grab from Sleepy Joe. We can't sit idly by as Democrats continue to ruin our country. Kamala just raised over $200 million from liberal billionaires. Can we pause there for a second? There is quite literally the billionaire list that's supporting Donald Trump, and they're bragging that they are a billionaire group and that billionaires should fund Donald Trump to help them pay less taxes. This $200 million that was raised by Vice President Kamala Harris came from over 1 million grassroots donors who were donating small amounts. Everything Donald Trump says is an absolute lie. He's the one getting the money from the billionaires. Vice President Kamala Harris is getting the money from grassroots. Then Donald Trump goes, she just seized $91 million from Crooked Joe. They think this will cause us to give up, but with your support, I will never surrender. My most critical end of the month deadline is just days away. I told you, this is some weird stuff. Here is JD Vance. He tried to, it went on, I don't know if this was damage control or what in the world they were doing. So JD Vance goes on Megyn Kelly earlier in the day, and she asks him about his cat lady remarks where he says that childless cat ladies are harming America. And he says, and he doubles down on it. And he says, I agree. Here, play this clip.
So Jesus didn't have kids. Therefore, you are wrong. What were you trying to say?
I guess they're comparing Kamala Harris to Jesus. I don't know. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me, Megyn. But look, I know the media wants to attack me and wants me to back down on this, Megyn. But the simple point that I made is that having children, becoming a father, becoming a mother, I really do think it changes your perspective in a pretty profound way. I don't think we should back down from it, Megyn. I think we should be honest about the problem.
And then he apologizes to the cats and says, I'm sorry to the cats, not to the women. Play the clip.
Obviously, it was a sarcastic comment. I've got nothing against cats. I've got nothing against dogs. I've got one dog at home and I love him, Megyn. But look, this is not, people are focusing so much on the sarcasm and not on the substance of what I actually said. And the substance of what I said, Megyn, I'm sorry, it's true. It is true that we...
And what you have to realize, though, about these people is who they are. And I hope one of the things you've appreciated about the MeidasTouch network is we've been calling this out from day one. We've been calling out Trump's connections with Jeffrey Epstein, how he appears all over Epstein's list, the phone logs, the call logs, deposition transcripts, how Trump said that Epstein's a great guy who likes women on the younger side. Epstein would find the women to traffic in Mar-a-Lago, like Virginia Giuffre. Ghislaine Maxwell would find her working there, bring her to Epstein. Like, we want to go look at all the other videos that we've done on that to learn more about that. Just search MeidasTouch and Donald Trump's past secrets. I've done so many Epstein videos. But here's one that we did recently because this is who they are. And we use the Kendrick Lamar song, Not Like Us, to make the point clear. Here, play this clip.
I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him.
Donald Trump is heard making questionable comments about a young girl.
You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop. That fuck 'em up. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. Donald Trump is a chump.
What does Tiffany have of Marla's?
She's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet.
He routinely spoke fawningly of Jeffrey. He admired Epstein's lifestyle.
Here's another video that we prepared showing the types of things that Donald Trump does at these events. Here, play this clip.
And my stupid people, when I wanted to refute it, they said, sir, don't dignify it with a rebuttal.
Have you been noticing peculiar behavior recently in someone you know?
Carried out by
Someone who mixes fiction and reality?
the late, great Hannibal Lecter. He's a wonderful man.
Perhaps someone of advanced age you have known for years.
Did you just see Maduro, Venezuela? It's unbelievable, Venezuela.
Of course, we all have our goofs. But consistently odd behavior can be a sign of frontotemporal dementia, a degenerative disease of the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain that dramatically impairs cognitive function. And there are some key signs to look out for, like slurring words,
The failing New York Times by anonymous, really anonymous.
struggling to find the correct words is another sign.
The Mueller report, I wish, covered the oranges of the investigation.
You may also notice someone veering into incoherent ideas, detached from reality.
You know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark.
Or an inability to complete simple sentences.
Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
Other notable symptoms include impaired motor function, such as a wavering limb, and decreased balance, often accompanied by a signature lean or arched stance. If someone you know is demonstrating several or all of these symptoms, they are seriously unwell. As a matter of safety, they must be relieved of critical responsibilities and disqualified from any position of authority. Remember, frontotemporal dementia is a degenerative disease. Cognitive function will never return and will only deteriorate further. Don't ignore the signs.
And here is the ad from George Conway's PAC, the Anti-Psychopath PAC, also showing this behavior that I referred before. Play this clip.
Donald Trump has never, ever been right in the head.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He's a wonderful man. Anonymous, really anonymous. We got up! And then they announced there was no buys, no. We've endorsed JP, right? JD Mandel. Take a look at the oranges of the investigation. Venezuela. If you have a windmill anywhere near your house, they say the noise causes cancer. I know more about wind than you do. I don't know what I said. Joe Biden won against Barack Hussein Obama. They have voter ID. They have ID on everything. You buy a loaf of bread, you have ID. The first non-incumbent. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to one injection inside or almost a cleaner. That an illegal ad, one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Learn more at psychopath.org.
And can we just not go back to this? Finally, here's the last video I want to show you that we made at the MeidasTouch Network. It's called We're Not Going Back. Play the clip.
Donald Trump wants to take our country backward. But we are not going back. We are not going back.
Tear gas was used to remove peaceful protesters from Lafayette Park.
The president setting up this photo op for himself, dispersing peaceful protesters. He's holding up a Bible.
This is a mass grave being dug for coronavirus victims at New York City's Potter's Field.
They were peaceful people. These were great people. The love in the air, I've never seen anything like it.
A group on one side and you had a group on the other. Very fine people on both sides.
You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy.
I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade.
We are not going back.
So tell me what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million subscribers. It's free to subscribe to this YouTube channel. So just hit subscribe right now. Let's get to 3 million. Thanks for watching.
Real quick, Meta just changed their algorithm to suppress political content. Please follow our Instagram at MeidasTouch right now as we head towards 400,000 followers so you don't miss a beat.